Well, Coach, here we are on the verge of another season. I know it comes around. I guess it seems quicker and quicker every year. But talk about what this summer has been like. Obviously, everybody's going to want to know, the first year after Deshaun. So, what's it been like during the summer, getting ready to replace him?
Well, I think it's one of the things. Mikey has done a great job, Gonzalez, of coming in, and I don't think you can replace Deshaun, but I think you can. Mikey's done a great job of coming in and running our offense through the 7-on-7s and through the West Georgia camp we went to, and now that we're in preseason. Mikey came to every meeting that Deshaun went to, and by coming to those meetings, he knows everything that Deshaun knows, and it's been fun watching Mikey put it into play and watching him adjust our offense on a daily basis, and he's really had a good summer. And Deshaun's Deshaun. You just, like I said earlier, you're not going to replace him. You put somebody in there, and you put a kid like Mikey in there who knows just as much, and let him handle it.
What obviously, you can't replace Deshaun, so you hope maybe you've got a bunch of people that can kind of pick up the slack. Do you feel like you've got a good group that can step forward and
sure,
pick it up as a group?
Yeah, I really do. I feel like Mikey does a great job of getting the ball to our playmakers and seeing where the plays are. I mean, he does a great job of checking off, seeing the things that we need to see. He makes good decisions. Very, very good in the pocket as far as maneuvering and getting the ball off. And he's got playmakers to get it to. And Rodney Lackey, Mike, and Chris Bird. He's Messiah Dorsey, Chris Williamson, Todrick Turner. So he's got people to get the ball to, and the biggest thing we're trying to do right now is try to make sure our offensive line. We're trying to shore up our offensive line to make sure we get the right people in there.
All the names you mentioned there, obviously, we talk about Deshaun, but you graduated a lot of other big players for you.
Sure. We graduated Devin Stringer, who was a big play man for us on defense, and we graduated, different people that they're good. They were good players. They were very good players, and Jay Godlock had caught 94 passes for us last year, and he's gone now, and so. But that's part of high school football is being able to plug the people in and teach your offense and try to get them better and better.
What as far as I guess just psychologically, how is the team accepting the challenge of they know that obviously that there was a great class that just graduated. How are they accepting the challenge and want to step up and be the next big class?
I think they're doing a very good job. Every year you start out with a bunch of seniors and you try to teach them to lead, and you try to teach them to do what a leader has to do, and they have really, and it takes a little while because they don't quite, they haven't ever had to, but they are doing a good job of getting us going and giving us some leadership and doing the things that's got to be done and challenging us each day. Our kids just show up to practice and they know what's expected, and the only big change I think for us this year is that we'll probably want to play a few kids both ways where we ever haven't had to in the past.
What is that just down to a lack of experience in certain areas? Talk about that.
Well, it's the lack of experience in a couple areas. It's an area where we got to get our athletes on the field, and we got to make sure that we're using them where they can help us win ball games.
What outside of the faces have changed, but what y'all are going to do is going to be pretty much the same, at least offensively. Now defensively, you lost a guy that had been a great coach for you. Talk about how you're replacing him, who the guy is that's stepping in, and how that's going to play out.
Wayne Jones is going to coordinate our defense. He was our secondary coach for 7 years under Coach Pavo. Wayne's going to coordinate our defense. An ex-Red Elephant, Steve Wilson, is coming back to coach the linebackers, which I'm very excited about. Coach Jones has done a great job in preseason so far and in spring of trying to get our kids ready to play, and he gets them ready to play, and he's a little bit more aggressive style, I guess I should say, of defense. He's going to be more of a come after you type coach, but you know, our kids are doing a great job. Our kids just adjust and go on. I mean, of course, Wayne wasn't a brand new person to them, so they kind of knew him, and Steve is just kind of giving us that solidness to make us just a very good coaching staff.
What y'all going to still base out of the same style of defense? Yes. And all that sort of thing? Okay.
We're going to be a 3-4. We're going to be a 3-4. Coming out of the 3-4, we're going to run out of the spread offense. Wanting to play fast. Wanting to get as many snaps in as we can. And our kids have to be in condition for us to be able to do that.
Absolutely. You know, this group right now, I know obviously it's so early, but do you feel like you've got a grasp on what do you think the strength of this group might be going forward?
Well, I think one of the strengths is going to be our skill positions, and Mikey's ability to understand our offense and know where the ball's got to go. I think defensively is filling in some of the spots. We've moved Chris Bird to linebacker, and him and JD will be our inside linebackers, and it makes us a very, very good defense when they're in there.
Talk a little about JD. I mean, obviously, you know, he's played a key role on the past two teams. Now he's kind of stepping up. Is he going to be the guy that fills that stringer role for you this year?
I think he will. And I tell you, somebody else that's going to lead as the junior is Chris Bird. Chris Bird's one of those kids that plays with a tremendous motor. It never stops. I mean, he's going to be a linebacker and probably back up his brother at running back. So we feel like we've got a great situation there with those two, and if we go to any two-back stuff, it'll be Chris and Mike Bird probably in the backfield.
You know, you already mentioned Lackey. Who are going to be some of the other guys? You know, actually, you mentioned some of those receivers. Yeah. You know, how are they going to compare to the group that you had last year?
Well, Jay Godlock was one of those kids that was just a very, very good football player. Messiah Dorsey will be playing our Y, where Jay played last year, and I wouldn't surprise me to see Messiah have a bunch of catches at the end of the season, just because of his ability to get open. I think him and Rodney will have great years. And Chris Williamson will have a good year. There's not a skill position that we're not afraid to get the ball to.
You know, one thing obviously, I know you lose all the experience, but all the kids that were here, you know, they had the experience right along with them of going through, you know, to championship games and semifinals and that sort of thing. So they know what it's like to win at the highest level. How big is that?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge, you know. It's kind of got to the point that our kids only want to play in big games, and they do a great job of showing up. And you know, it seems like the bigger the game is, the better we play. Our kids just do a great job of adjusting.
What do you feel like is going to be the biggest kind of question mark for y'all going into the preseason?
Well, I think one of the question marks is since we're playing some kids both ways, is we've got to stay healthy. I mean, now instead of if you get an injury, losing a starter on one side of the ball, it may be a two-sided ball guy, and you lose two positions, and that's going. I know coaches say every year injuries are an issue, but if you ever hit the injury bug and it just starts getting into your system, I mean, you can take I've seen a great team be a very average team before the end of the season.
And then finally, just talk a bit about the region. I know it's pretty much the same, but you add in Lanier. I mean, they're going to be pretty athletic, I would think.
Yeah, they're very athletic. I saw them at a couple 7-on-7 tournaments, and they are very, very athletic. I think our region, I was talking with John Ward at the AD at Clark Central, and I think it's one of these years that you don't know who's going to win it. It's kind of flip a coin, and as the year goes on, I'm sure some leaders will emerge. But I think it's going to be an interesting year for our region.
All right, Coach. Well, listen, I appreciate your time. Good luck in 2014.
Thanks.